So I want to talk about killing characters off, because it's gotten to a point where we get kind of confused on, well, at least this is my opinion anyway, how to do it well. So, like in my previous videos, I'm mainly going to use Naruto and Dragon Ball for this, and sort of mix American comics in there as well. I'll explain it as we further delve into this. So basically, with Naruto, and we have spoilers here, so you can just click off. And I expect people to not fully know the story of that as well as they would see, or just Dragon Ball in general. Pretty much every villain except for Orochimaru dies, and that's that. But there's one thing saving grace, which is that they get a flashback. You get to see kind of the characters, some development before they meet their end. Um, and sure enough, that's kind of the case with Naruto, where if anyone's about to die, let's do a couple of flashbacks and explore their past. And it's so annoying because it's almost as though you're just brought back to be you're getting fleshed out at last, but this is your last chapter. Which was the case with Jiraiya. With I know he's not a villain, but some other just was it Conan? All these different characters that just they die right after being fleshed out. Which I guess is might be the proper send off. I just feel it's kind of iffy because now I know instinctively if this person gets a flashback about their past, they're going to die. um, so that's that. But I mainly am making this to sort of explain my issue with killing characters off. Um, at least the way that it's been done within the last couple of just years and decades, I guess, within these two shonen animes or slash mangas. So with Dragon Ball, you have a case where death is kind of a joke, where anybody can just be brought back whenever, how many times, doesn't matter. And I remember distinctively someone had called on Krillin to stay dead because he had been brought back, I think, 4 times, died 4 times, kept being resurrected over and over. And I told them, well, if that's the case, then you want him to die permanently in Super, you're kind of wasting your time because he's barely around anyway. And if he is around, he's not really doing anything. He's just kind of serving as comic relief, which I mean, that wasn't even his role in either series. He always contributed to the plot in some regard. So with that being said, you also have these characters that like in Dragon Ball just come back out of nowhere, and Naruto kind of tries to be more serious with its deaths, but a lot of them to me just feel unnecessary, such as Neji's, who I was so bugged by that because after so the manga is 2 parts. It's part one, part two. Part one is volumes 1 through 27, I think. And then part two is volumes 28 through 72 when the manga ends. And I can honestly say he is almost completely irrelevant after the first, I think that after I think volume 24, 23. Not used in any regard, not given any type of focus, nothing. In Shippuden, the sequel, all he really does, part two, is be in random fights and have 1 or 2 lines per panel or per episode that he's in. It's ridiculous. I mean, fillers are much nicer to his character, but now whenever I watch this, I think about it, these are, this is content with a character I really like, but I get they, it's not real. It doesn't matter. Um, so his death was unnecessary to me because he didn't get any focus. He didn't get any type of screen time or, you know, just development with the audience in the sense of this is someone you regularly see, and so their death makes you miss them more. It's similar to Jiraiya, where he in Shippuden up until his death didn't really do anything at all, and then he dies, and obviously there's a whole good 5, 6 chapters just based around him at that point. But why do you have to have a death in the spotlight? Uh, they're talking about with Dragon Ball Super right now, where they're going to, they're talking about who to kill off permanently. And I say the only characters that would make sense to kill off in the hopes of letting it have some impact on viewers would be Goku, Vegeta, or Black, or maybe Trunks, who I still, he's already died, and he hasn't been around as much in this series as he has before with Z. where his death at the end of that saga actually contributed to the plot. And that's not to say that deaths don't always add up and make somebody do something else or drive a story, but there's a point in a time and place for everything, and I don't see killing off someone that we barely see as actually being impactful. And that's another thing that kind of annoys me and this is for both Dragon Ball and Naruto, although Dragon Ball again to a lesser extent. But every major villain suffers from this. Why do they all die? It's so annoying because you get so um, it almost makes it formulaic because I think about the ending to Avatar: The Last Airbender, and I was expecting up until the end of the show for the Fire Lord to die, and he didn't. Um, and that showed me at that point when I think that was 2008, that was 10, that you can have characters get defeated, but they don't have to be killed. And they can be used again, which is what they've been doing with them in the spin-off comics that they've had coming out in the years since the show ended. Same thing with American comics. Very rarely do recurring villains that are not like it's not the Joker or Luther or anything. This is kind of the you know like Shocker and Electro, or that's just like the class B type villain, the one that's kind of just recurring. They don't kill them off because they want to keep using them. They want them to be a recurring threat. And Dragon Ball has this thing where they just can't conceive of the possibility of using a major villain and then having them be either a recurring threat or survive, be defeated but survive. It makes no sense to me how you have these plots where you can make me interested in the character, make me believe they're a good villain, then just kill them off and never refer to them or use them again. My favorite villain in Dragon Ball, all of it, just the entire series, is Cell, and he dies after his arc is over, and you very rarely hear about him, or if you see him again, it's in filler like GT and some of the stuff for Z that came out afterward. And I actually recall with the whole formulaic thing well, that's when I really caught on because, okay, King Piccolo comes close to the end of Dragon Ball, dies. Piccolo Jr. survives, whatever. Uh, Raditz comes, dies. Nappa comes, dies. Vegeta comes, survives. Uh, Zarbon, Dodoria, Ginyu all die. And really their deaths were just to, make Vegeta look cooler. So basically, you're only using these characters to just I don't know. I feel like they unnecessarily kill people off. And I apologize. This has been rambling, but it's just so annoying to be invested in the story, its characters, and then know you're never going to see them ever again, and that you barely got to see them when they died anyway. They always kill off somebody that just came around and didn't do much, as I mentioned with Neji and Jiraiya's deaths. In Shippuden, you can go and watch it. They didn't do anything up until they died. And then they expect me to care because, oh, you saw part one. Like, yeah, but not everybody who's watching this has. So, yeah, that's just my opinion on those two. But moving over to, going back to Dragon Ball for a moment, Super. Like I said, it's only those three or those four who would matter because they've received the most screen time, the most attention. And Goku and Vegeta would be the main two I would get rid of because one of those two dying actually would impact viewers of the series that maybe didn't see Z. That's kind of my thing. If you have someone who people are grown attached to over the course of Super's 50 episodes now, over the course of that length of time, then they're going to be invested and they're not going to want to see that person to, be killed. And that's pretty much my issue with that. And, I can't believe people have this thing where it's like, okay, we'll just kill this person off, kill that person off. Make a death matter. Make it, be substantial to the point where the viewer goes, oh, I missed that character. It's like when they were talking about, this one reviewer, his name was Blows Himself Up Dude, and he was talking about Ultimate Spider-Man comics. And he mentioned how Uncle Ben doesn't die until, I think, issue 4, and how it's different from Spider-Man's initial appearance in Amazing Fantasy number 15, because you actually get to know Uncle Ben as a character, and, you develop your own investment with him. Whereas with the original version, you didn't feel any way for him because all you knew about him was that the main character liked him, and now he's dead and he's gone, and you're supposed to be sad for him. So it's that kind of thing where make a death matter to the reader. Don't just make it be someone that we don't care about. You know, you kill off some recurring character. Why should it matter? We barely got to see them, at least for that portion of the series. So give them more screen time. If you want to kill somebody off, you give them more screen time. You give them some development, obviously. Just make them a likable person, or at least make them someone that we realize we feel their death is important because we felt that character was important to the story. Yeah, so that's just my opinion. Thank you for watching and have a good day.